Recent Minecraft updates have been adding features to the game with a clear purpose of making them educational. Whether it's the amethyst geode, the mangrove swamp, or the turtles, you can learn a lot from Minecraft is what developers want you to think, but honestly, even though Mojang thinks they can teach you the most and Minecraft is realistic, it is at heart a very unrealistic game, but some of the unrealistic parts of the game will teach you just as much. Like Obsidian, for example, even though it's the exact opposite of how it is in real life, it's still fascinating to learn about, and today I wanted to dive through all of the examples of where Minecraft is unrealistic, but it actually teaches you something quite interesting about real life. And we're going to start with all of the fantasy mobs which prove that Minecraft can never truly be a realistic game. I mean, there's the Blaze, the Chicken Jockey, the Creeper, the Drown, the Elder Guardian, the Ender Dragon, the Enderman, the Endermite,
346 minutes later,
and zombified piglins. But even the mobs that do exist in the real world are hilariously wrongly sized. Have you seen the spider? They don't look like that in the real world. Everywhere but Australia, of course. And have you seen bees? Also, silverfish, not only are they hilariously wrongly sized, this is the scale you'd see in real life, but also they don't live in stone, they don't break stone, and they don't do any damage to humans. In fact, they only like paper. I've had a silverfish infestation in my house, so I've learned this one the hard way. Really, they should be in the library room of the stronghold rather than the rest of it. Speaking of the rest of it, by the way, every animal in Minecraft has some weird flaws in them. Like, for example, in Minecraft, foxes pick up items. For instance, they can pick up a weapon like a diamond sword, but then they can use and benefit from the increased attack of that weapon. In real life, foxes will sometimes pick up items, but they certainly will not use them to hunt, and they certainly will not benefit from the enchantments on that weapon. Although I guess we could argue the enchantment system is kind of silly. But if we move aside from mobs for just a second, if you fall over 150 meters in real life, you are almost certainly guaranteed to die. Even if you fall in water, when you're moving at this speed, the water can't move out of the way fast enough, and it's like hitting concrete, and a lot of people have died from falling into water. That's why if you look closely at famous bridges like the Golden Gate Bridge, they're covered in nets and like warnings and suicide prevention things, because they know that if you jump off the edge, you don't just land in the water and it's all chill. No, you will die from the impact, except it's actually a slow, painful. You don't want to die that way. To avoid being too gruesome in this video, we'll talk about carrots next, because obviously in Minecraft, you just plant them in the ground and it grows more carrots. This is actually how potatoes work in the real world, but if we compare that to carrots in real life, the way they actually grow is they give you biennial seeds. This means they'll only grow in the summer, and you have to plant these particular carrot seeds. You can't just plant a carrot in the ground, because then you'll just have a carrot in the ground. However, in Minecraft, carrots and potatoes have no distinct abilities besides the fact that you can't get poisonous carrots for some reason. Also, speaking of poisonous carrots, if you actually were to eat a carrot covered in gold, you probably wouldn't be damaged too much. I mean, it looks like it's a light gold leaf around the outside from these little nuggets. However, if we look at the golden apple recipe, these contain 8 gold bars. Eating 8 gold bars is not only an insane amount of effort in real life, also it's a ridiculous cost. A gold bar is something like $30,000, so not only would you have to be a millionaire to even consider doing this, but eating 8 gold bars is just not going to be good for you. There is a general consensus that mild gold consumption is probably harmless, which is why you see gold-coated burgers or carrots. Well, you don't see gold-coated carrots outside of Minecraft, but you could eat them, but there is basically no research into prolonged or excessive gold consumption, and it is generally assumed that most doctors would tell you not to eat 8 gold bars with an apple. I don't think the apple really balances out the 8 gold bars, but I guess we eat chocolate and toffee and candy apples, and we believe that all of those are healthy because there's fruit in the center. But I'm gonna level with you, I just eat all the candy and the chocolate and whatnot from the outside, and then I throw away the apple because I'm not here to eat fruit, I'm here to enjoy myself. So in Minecraft, I just eat the 8 gold bars and ignore the apple too. I don't know what effects that would give me, but speaking of effects that you might get, axolotls have this wonderful effect where they will actually team up with you and help you beat aquatic foes. This is really great of them, but in real life, the way it works is they're carnivorous animals that only eat other small animals like worms or insects, and they also are really well known to be timid when facing smaller/bigger animals. This means if they were to find a guardian in Minecraft, hypothetically, they probably wouldn't go toe-to-toe with it for you, and honestly would probably run away in fear. Just like how you might run away in fear when you learn about the subscribe button. Did you know greater than 99% of house fires that happen to people who aren't subscribed to the IBX Toycat YouTube channel? You can use those statistics however you like, just like how you can use the statistic that in real life, if you were to shear a sheep, you would maybe, if it was the biggest, woolliest sheep ever, get about a meter cubed of wool. That would be a real stretch to say. However, in Minecraft, when you shear a sheep, you get 1 to 3 blocks, all of which are 1 meter cubed of perfectly compacted wool. This makes basically no sense in a comparison, because if you were to try and stand on that uncompacted wool from the real world, it would be like falling through powdered snow, because it would slowly compact as you stood on it in a way that just isn't true for Minecraft. Also, it certainly wouldn't deafen your footsteps because you wouldn't be able to walk in it. Just like how in real life a cow cannot be milked infinitely. Poor cow in Minecraft can just have as many buckets come right out of it as you like. Also in real life, cows have to give birth to be milked. This is a part of the dairy industry if you want to make this video an anti-dairy thing, but I don't want to. Instead, I want to tell you that cows only lactate for 10 months after each time they give birth. In game, any cow can give milk. Even a cow that you just saw be born and then you fed it to make it grow up yourself, when you see that adult cow, which has definitely not given birth, you can milk it regardless. Also, by the way, isn't it strange? Every cow is milkable. In real life, I'm sure I don't need to tell you, you can only really milk lady cows, but in Minecraft, every animal is slightly hermaphroditic. Even villagers appear to have this hermaphroditic trait, and it's very, very strange because the only mob in Minecraft which is distinctly gendered is maybe the witch, and the only mob which is distinctly sexed is the Ender Dragon, which of course is the only one of her species anyway. She's called Jean, she gives birth to an egg, but even then, can you say that either of those mobs aren't hermaphrodites? I don't think you can definitely say that. Every mob in Minecraft can breed with every other mob, and so every mob must be both male and female in the Minecraft world. I mean, the actual explanation that came from Notch is that there's no gender in Minecraft, but I don't think people like to refer to him these days. So instead, what we'll say is that in real life, fireflies would poison a frog when eaten, and this is something Minecraft wanted to be really mindful of when designing the frog, and so they didn't add fireflies to the game because they didn't want to encourage people to feed fireflies to frogs, and so instead we give them magma cubes, a cube of magma. Do you know what magma is? Do you know how horrifying it is? Have you seen a video of a magma stream and how, yeah, you feed that to a frog and that's perfectly fine, and then you get rewarded for it with glowing poop, which as we all know is exactly how the frog's digestive system works in real life. Just like how you're probably vaguely aware of the fact that lava exists in real life. I mean, it comes from volcanoes and exists in the earth core, which is not how it works in Minecraft, but that's fine. The bigger concern is the fact that in real life, lava is extremely hot. If you need to keep lava, a liquid, moving, it has to be over 1,000 degrees Celsius. However, if we use other melting points from real life, we can say that iron melts at 1,538 degrees Celsius. However, long before this point, it will start to reach its thermal capacity and conductivity, which means that if you were to use an iron bucket on the coolest point that lava could be, the bucket would most likely deform and be broken, and certainly would not be able to hold lava infinitely inside of it like it can in Minecraft. And that, let's not even consider the fact that the temperature would go through the iron bucket and go straight into your hand, burning you significantly, even though the lava is in a bucket now. It doesn't make any sense. Just like how it doesn't make any sense that you can pour a bucket of water onto a cubic meter of lava and the water doesn't immediately turn to steam. This is what happens in the real world because, as it turns out, water is not cold enough to actually remove the thermal properties of lava. It certainly isn't cold enough to spread to other lava blocks and turn them into obsidian for some reason. Yeah, for real. I brought up obsidian earlier, and it's kind of silly that like it's got the exact opposite materials properties in Minecraft. You know, it's very hard in Minecraft, the hardest material. But not only is it ridiculous when it comes to material, the way you make it is a little bit over the top. I don't think you could make this much obsidian using one water bucket on all of this very, very hot lava. Also, being this close to the lava would be very hot for the player character, and you might run into some issues. Although, if we're talking about that, the Nether is a dimension where Steve would probably die instantly because, as we can see from the fact that water buckets immediately evaporate here, this means that this is hotter than lava just in the ambient air for this dimension. The temperature here is at least 1,100 degrees Celsius, and I'm just saying I don't think Steve can withstand that, and if he can withstand that, then he should be able to jump in lava without taking so much damage. Although, you know, he dies quite slowly in lava, given all of these things. Anyway, speaking of things that are kind of strange, in Minecraft, if you put 2 buckets of water in a 3-block trench, you end up with an infinite water source, which means not only do you have 3 cubic meters of water now, but also you can take an infinite number out of this. However, in real life, if you put 2 buckets of water in a 3-block wide trench, you would probably end up with about 2 buckets of water back. In fact, it'd definitely be less depending on the material, because some of that would seep in. Having 2 buckets of water come out of 2 blocks is already unrealistic. Having an infinite number come out is also very realistic. Just like how you don't don't need me to point out the ridiculousness of being able to place a lava block and have it not flow any blocks of the ones around it based on the pressure plates around it. This also works with water, which means that a water block can be directly next to lava and somehow magically not getting rid of it. Also, the rain, has to be pointed out, is not doing anything to the lava. Also, you know, the weirder thing about this is the fact that we can do the exact same thing we're doing here, but when we use buttons instead, even buttons made from wood, I guess these are technically made from warp wood, it looks very different. Also, as you can see, when I break the blocks, the water levels go down. What sense does any of this make? Minecraft, it just, when it comes to fluids, doesn't make any sense. Just, by the way, also has to be mentioned, I've got this milk bucket right here. It's the exact same amount of fluid as in a water or a lava bucket, as you can see from the identical models. There might be more lava in there, but I'm not too sure. But if you look carefully, you can see that I can't place down the milk, which is very strange because there's 1 meter cubed of liquid here, if the water bucket is to be believed. Why can't I swim through milk, Minecraft? Also, if I can drink milk, but I can't place milk, why can I place water, but I can't drink it? It just doesn't make any sense. I want to drink lava, and I want it to kill me, and that's all I'm asking for, Minecraft. Why won't you accept my wishes? What sense does this make, you know? What is happening here? There's no logic to any of it. There's just insanity and chaos, if you ask me. And yeah, with that said. Also, why is it that lava on water makes a different resource to water on lava? Why does that? Surely it shouldn't make a difference. Surely they're the same 2 resources regardless. Okay, I guess it does make a difference. By the way, it also has to be mentioned that the heaviest item in Minecraft is a gold block. It would weigh 19,300 tons, and so holding a stack of 64 of these would be 1.2 million tons. How can Steve not only hold this, but then hold another 35 inventory slots, which could all, by the way, be stacks of gold, weighing 44 tons in total, I think. Steve would have to be seriously buff for this to be true, and if that's the case, why is it that he can punch a wood block down in a couple of seconds, but it takes so many hits for him to damage a pig or a bee or a spider? Also, you know, I think we have to mention here, the ocelot, one of the cutest mobs in Minecraft, it's actually an on-chiller, because an ocelot has very different characteristics. Just like how TNT has different characteristics, this amount would be dozens of times more powerful in the real world and would heat up water to 1100 degrees Celsius. In other words, if you had water anywhere near this TNT, well then, boom, there goes your water, turns into steam, would probably create some form of water vapor that just doesn't exist in Minecraft. But I hope at this stage you get the point that Minecraft is a game which is filled with realistic elements, but it's also filled with wildly unrealistic ones, as any video game has to be. There are very few realistic games. In fact, if you want to go really, really realistic, there is no perfectly realistic video game, and that's entirely okay. Lots of really fun gameplay mechanics can come from things that don't match the real world. And although you don't need to make something up and lie to people about it, I think that it's also true that you don't need to make things perfectly realistic, because I'll learn just as much about calcite, whether it's accurate in Minecraft or whether it's not. I learn just as much about biomes, even though they make no sense in Minecraft given the size they are and the formation they spawn in, because this teaches me how the real world can be formed, even when it's inaccurate in a lot of ways. I hope you all enjoyed this video, because I'll see you in the next one. Probably. Goodbye.